All right, welcome back to Blue by 90, presented by Feldman Chevrolet of Highland. I am Justin, joined by Tanner today. It is October 6th, Monday, after Michigan beat Wisconsin this weekend, 24-10. A little bit of a snoozer, kind of. I don't know. It felt like, you felt like you were waiting for Michigan to pull away all game, and it took until the fourth quarter, really, for them to even get up 2 scores. So ultimately, at the end of the day, a win is a win in the Big Ten. I think that with a 17-point 17-point spread, you wish that you handily won that. But my biggest takeaway was pretty much that Wisconsin never had a chance of winning that game. After they went up 7-0, Michigan goes and scores immediately. After that offense, their offense didn't do anything all day long.
No, it was extremely hot in the Big House, by the way. Thankfully, thankfully it was on the Michigan side. So right around halftime, the shade kicked in, the sun kind of peeked over the press box, and I wasn't dying. I'm not as red as I would have been otherwise if I was on the opposite side of the section, like some of our friends' season tickets are located. So, it was kind of a snoozer. It felt more like it should have been like a 55-degree noon game with like Beth Mowens on the call on ESPN2 back in the day.
Yeah.
That first drive, Wisconsin had a lot of success, and you're kind of sitting there like, what's going on? And it was just kind of a few things that happened. But beyond that, Michigan was pretty dominant, right? I mean, Michigan put up 450 yards. Wisconsin was about 250. A couple things offensively for Michigan kind of prevented them from making this look a little bit better than it is. And we've said that a few times this year, and I hope we stop saying that. But in the stadium, it's hot, tired, water $6. I'm just like a little aggravated with the commercials. We'll say the stadium experience, being able to use your phone during the timeouts is great. I love seeing our boy Anthony out there talking to Blake Corum, like those moments, the hero of the game. But otherwise, it's just a lot of filler. So I'm like, I want to see what's going on in college football. So anyways, man, it was, 24-10, whatever. I thought Michigan played pretty well outside of a few things. I thought Bryce played his best game at Michigan. He puts up, 264 yards through the air. I tweeted this, and I'm going to, if you think, like, I had people reply to me, and I have my, unless you follow me, I don't see the notification, but sometimes I'll click on the tweet and see what people say. Just so I don't see a lot of nonsense. If you think that Bryce Underwood's not good or mid, I don't know what you're watching. Like, there was a number of throws, number of ways he moves in the pocket, he gets outside, he makes throws, he makes good decisions that you just don't see from a true freshman 18-year-old quarterback. And the kid is just, I think the bye week helped a lot. I think Bryce played extremely well. I mean, he would have had what? I mean, we were just talking about a pre-show, like that Samaj slant RPO. Like if Samaj catches that, he might go all the way. I mean, he's at least going to get maybe 20, 30 yards, and then you maybe have a chance to take a shot with your timeouts late in the half. Kendrick Bell dropped one that Bryce made a great play to get out. It was a little high, but Bryce is running to the sideline, thrown across his body with 4 defenders chasing him. So
just him getting around those guys was impressive.
The play that did get completed, it was kind of like a yakety sax moment for Samaj, and we'll talk about Samaj, but he bobbles the ball, catches it, runs, gets inside the 10, fumbles it, falls on it. But Bryce just made a lot of big time throws. I thought the throw to Andrew Marsh, I think that was either late in the first, early in the second quarter, was a really, really nice throw. Marsh makes a great play. I think Bryce is getting to a point where he clearly trusts McCulley and Marsh a lot to make those types of throws. I would love to force feed those guys the football. I think they're clearly the 2 best wide receivers. And then you hope that you get Hogan Hansen back. We've talked a lot about, on this show. I'm sure that Worm and Jordan Strack have talked about it on their show. I've talked about it on our show with BB's Big House. Like, you want Marsh to step up. Like, that's your best chance this year for a legitimate number 2 wide receiver. Right. And you want Hogan Hansen to be there. And he was dressed but didn't play. So I'm all over the place.
He's probable for USC.
That would be huge, I think. I think Michigan's going to be able to run the ball on USC, but you definitely want all your weapons available, especially with the offense that they have. And Michigan's going to have its work cut out for them. But Yeah, all in all, I'm all over the place here, but I thought it was a really solid game. I mean, nothing really to complain about. As I left the stadium, I felt a lot better than I did like in the stadium in the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I mean, we all would love to dominate every game. Obviously, I think that this really should have been like a 38-7 game, really, honestly. That's what it should have been. That part to your point is disappointing. And the fact of like, can we step on somebody's throat when we know that they're down and they don't have a chance of scoring? I just actually went through the drives, and after Wisconsin's first drive, they didn't get past Michigan's 49-yard line until the final field goal that they had. So they had a ton of consecutive drives where they didn't go anywhere. And so that's where I'm like, if I'm Wink and the defense, I'm looking at this offense like, hey guys, like they're going nowhere. We need you to at least go kick field goals, right? Get us some points on the board, and let's put this thing away so that we can get some of our younger guys reps in the fourth quarter. So that's really where I'm at with what I saw.
Well, you look at the drive charts, and so I can, if you want to interject here, feel free, because I'm just going to kind of talk about both teams and offense defensively for Michigan. But after the 5-play 75-yard touchdown, Michigan has some 3-and-outs. They have some moments where people were. Let me ask you this: on that 4th and 1, where it looked like Marsh got the first down on 2nd down. And then they kind of get stuff, and they come out and they do the chains, and then they review it, but it's a huge pile. I don't know how they overturned it. Right. Do you want Sharon to go for it there when you're playing defense that well against a team with a 3rd-string quarterback? Because I don't. I heard a lot of people in my section complaining. That was one of I saw people on Twitter. I'm like, you're at your own 25. This team cannot move the ball. What are we literally?
I mean, if you go for it there and don't get it, you gift them a field goal, and that's their only chance at points.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So I agree with you. I mean, everybody as a, casual fan wants to be Dan Campbell and just go for it on 4th down all the time. Yeah. That's super fun when you get it a lot, but that was a smart play. And I'll be honest, Sharon Moore has like made maybe incorrect decisions in the past in those types of situations. And yeah, it's not the fun call there, but I think it's the right call. But to your point, I think that there were just so many times with this offense where it's like, you feel like, okay, let's go. This is the drive. And then you somehow, kick yourself with a drop or a penalty or what, we really didn't have that many penalties, but it was more so like, I mean, the drop specifically, we can talk about that for a second. It's just frustrating because you're 1st and 10 and you have a drop that would have set you up for either a 1st down or a short yardage 2nd down, and you drop it. And then what do? You run on 2nd and 10 every time, right? So then it's just like, okay, I just felt like it was like a sputtering thing where Michigan had so many chances. They didn't look like bad by any means. And I think credit to Wisconsin's defensive line too.
Their defense is pretty good. I mean,
their defense is pretty good. Their D line is really good against our front. And like they gave Alabama some fits, honestly. Like Alabama did not push them around. So I want to say your point,
that like I think Michigan was able later in the game because again, I tweeted out run, pass, repeat. And I hate run, pass, right? Because if you're obviously this team can run, but this game you saw, and again, what other teams have done to Wisconsin is you can throw the ball. Like their secondary is not that great. Like they've got a really good front, but you could throw the ball. They did run for 175 yards. I thought later in the game they were able to once Sprague kind of cleaned up some of his issues. I thought he was better later in the game. He had some whiffs, but I think again, I get emotional in the moment. Maybe it's not a good thing that there's service, Justin. I just don't. I can't tweet.
You having service in the stadium is a liability.
Good. No, which is funny because like road games that I haven't been to, like I don't tweet. Really, I just text our group chats or whatever. But maybe that's why, because I can't text a group chat in the stadium because I don't know if you guys are getting it. Anyways, I hate the run pass. Especially like there was one sequence where, again, Sprague got blown up, so it's 2nd and 13. They run it again. It's 3rd and 10. And just putting your freshman quarterback in a situation where the defense can pin their ears back and they know that you're going to throw the football, I think is always a difficult thing. But again, how many times did Michigan put up 450 yards of offense last year? Maybe one against Northwestern. If that wasn't it, then they didn't at all. So
I mean, we definitely did not throw for 270 yards ever.
No.
I mean, it's funny because we're like bitching a little bit right now, but
Yeah.
then you go look at the box score and you're like, that's Bryce's best game by far,
Yeah.
right? And like, we haven't had a 100-yard receiver since Roman Wilson in 2023. And so, like, yes, we're bitching, and it could have been a 38-7 game where you just like are, have no mistakes. And I think that is like a concern. But at the end of the day, you have a ton of bright spots. I mean, Donovan McCulley is a huge bright spot in this game of emerging as wide receiver number one, which we kind of knew he was, but waiting for him. I mean, this was his first touchdown, I believe, right? So
I mean, Bryce only has 3 passing touchdowns, and again, like the people that don't watch the games are gonna have a field day with that.
Of course.
It doesn't matter, but like he's had a lot of drop touchdowns, or in the first game, Andrew Marshall's not looking, that would have been a touchdown. McCulley gets to the 2-yard line, they run it in this game,
right.
like so. Again, like the raw stats are not there offensively in terms of like Bryce lighting it up, but Bryce is playing really good.
Yes.
Like he is exceeding my expectations in terms of what I had for him as a true freshman.
You
see it start to slow down for him too. Like he's reading the defense.
Yep.
I know Jay Dew posted. I think he got to his 4th read on a dump down to Jordan Marshall.
Like, it was literally like boom, 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 boom.
It's happening, guys. Like if you're a Michigan fan, it is happening. Like all the things that have been said about him are happening. There's still work to be done. He's got 2 more years in this year to develop and get better. And how quickly he picks things up and how quickly he's adjusted to playing college football in the Big Ten, I think is extremely impressive. So to those people that are in my mentions, like, oh, he's mid, he's average, like, dude, you clearly don't watch football. And if you want to, be a moron on the internet, that's totally fine. That's your prerogative. But like, I don't sit here and I'm like, oh, Julian Sands, I watch the games. He's a good quarterback. Like you can have that take even if you like other teams. It just blows my mind.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I mean, that's just like classic fans, right? That's the internet.
I've been
right?
that guy. I'm gonna be honest. I like to push narratives.
Of course, people are going to be haters and box score watchers. Right?
By the way, real quick, because we're talking about narratives, can we talk about how terrible Texas is, and that's not a ranked win anymore? That makes me happy.
Not a ranked win. Penn State is a complete fraud.
Washington had to score 24 unanswered late in the 3rd and in the 4th to beat Maryland. Like they were getting smoked, and the Maryland just collapsed. But like,
I think
some of those wins don't look too good, man.
No, those wins don't look too good.
But our wins, Nebraska. I mean, you know what I mean?
I mean, Michigan State. I will say there was nothing better than Saturday and Sunday scrolling on Twitter and watching Michigan State and Penn State fans talk about like their coaches' buyouts.
I was asking people at the tailgate, like, what's Fickle's buyout? And they were like, I mean, somebody told me $60 million, and I don't think that was right. Yeah,
they are. I don't know. They're. I guess to wrap up that conversation all in one. Basically, there aren't that many good teams. Ohio State is one of them. I'll be honest with you, right?
Yeah,
there aren't that many good teams.
Miami, maybe Oklahoma if Mateer comes back. Like, I think this is a year where you just make the playoff, right?
Make the playoff and see what happens.
Well, we talked about this early in the year when the schedule released that Michigan is pretty favorable, right? And you're seeing it play out now. So the next 2 games, if you can go 2-0, you're going to go into that last Saturday in November 10-1. Probably regardless what happens, you're going to make the playoff. So just get in there.
I agree with you. Going back to Bryce, I wanted to say one thing on him too. We are definitely all over the place with this podcast.
But that's what if you listen to us, that's how we do it. We're not very structured.
Yeah, that's a fact. So I would say with Bryce, knock on wood, here's the thing that I don't think we all expected. We all expected him to be super athletic, have a cannon, make some awesome plays. I don't think we expected him to make essentially like 0 mistakes. Like he has, yes, he's had some, like he had like the one flutter ball. He, overthrew a couple guys. I think he could definitely be better in like not rocketing the ball when it's a 5-yard out route or something like that. But essentially, like I kind of expected as a freshman quarterback who's super agile and wants to make plays, I expected him to throw into double coverage a bunch and be like, hey, we're going to make awesome plays. We're also going to make a ton of mistakes. But the reality is that he really has not made any at all. So I want to say that, like, yes, you can be frustrated that he doesn't have 3 touchdowns a game and 300 yards and whatever else, which, I honestly, if we threw it 40 times, he probably would. But I just want to touch on that. Like, knock on wood, he has been really good at controlling himself and not forcing a ton of things at all.
Yeah, I think Michigan and Chip Lindsey have done a really good job of calling and designing plays to where he can get out and roll. He made quite a few really impressive throws just on the run. He had one on the first drive out of halftime in the third quarter. That leads to, I believe they missed the field goal on that drive. But he has a couple of throws. He has one to Marsh in the flat. Marsh gets like 15. He's got another one where he has to level it right over a linebacker. The guy next to me in the stadium is like, that was a little scary. And I'm like, well, you got that kind of arm. I'm cool with it. I mean, everyone.
I love that throw. Honestly, I want him on the move.
Well, and I mean, you just kind of said it. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with the way he's throwing the football right now in terms of like the speed. I'm never going to get mad at Max Bredesen for dropping a football because that's just not what his game is, right? Like, that's obviously you want. If you're going to throw the ball to Max, I kind of want Bryce to be able to make an easy throw. He can't do anything other than fire it in there because if he, tries to take anything off it, that might be a pick.
Yes.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with how he's throwing the ball right now. He's clearly able to throw the fastball, but I think he does have the ability to kind of take some speed off. So I think he's playing extremely well. He had a throw to McCauley. I want to say I think it was in the fourth quarter. Because they were going towards the north end of the stadium, and he steps up in the pocket, kind of moves a little bit to his right, and he's off platform, just fires it to McCauley for 15 yards. I mean, the kid just is playing extremely well. So again, I saw some people who were like, I saw Ohio State fans saying that, and again, it's a different era, so it's hard to know. Like, if Terrell Pryor is a true freshman, was what he would do in Ryan Day's offense, for example. But like, bro, it's not even close. The things they're asking him to do, like Terrell Pryor was basically just running the ball. He threw for 1,000 yards in 12 games. Now, he didn't play every snap. He didn't start the season. So, again, I see all these things, and I'm like, you just are not watching. If you're watching this kid play, you can clearly see why he was a generational prospect. And he's only getting better, man. Like, he is going to continue to improve. He's going to have more reps. By the time we get to the end of the season, he's going to basically be, into his sophomore year in terms of just reps, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's been extremely impressive. 264 yards, 9.8 an attempt with, probably at least 50 yards on drops. Like, the kid is just playing his tail off, and he's making really smart decisions. And, I think it's been really impressive to see.
And I mean, yes, emphasis on he's super young, right? Emphasis on he's only getting better. And he doesn't have the tools quite yet. Like, there's not the full toolbox. I mean, I do think outside of a couple of those whiffs on the run blocking, I thought our offensive line against a good defensive line, they at least gave him a bunch of time, in my opinion. I thought that it wasn't like he was running for his life. There weren't like giant holes for Justice Haynes like we've seen this year, but he was protected. So I like that. Let's talk about this defense for a second. I mean, just unbelievable. Like I said, Wisconsin, after their first drive, didn't get past Michigan's 49-yard line. So basically midfield, essentially, until that final drive, which they had a bunch of backups in on that final drive by then.
Yeah, man. So the drive chart, so 12 plays, 75-yard touchdown. And then it goes 6 plays, 22 yards punt, 3 and out, 5 yards, 5 plays, 19 yards punt, 3 and out, 8 yards punt, 4 plays, 23 yards punt. That's into halftime. And then the entire third quarter, 3 and out, 1 yard punt, 3 and out, 5 yard punt, 3 plays, 31 yards picked by Rod Moore. In the fourth quarter, 3 and out, 5 yards punt, and then 13 plays, 53 yards field goal when they took 7 minutes off the clock. I don't want to change the subject again, but like, what the hell was Luke Fickell doing? He's just take those timeouts back. Is he trying to get fired to collect that buyout? I never seen anything like it.
Weird. Why were we going for it too?
I wanted to score just to be like, dude, if you're gonna quit,
I'm with you on that. I mean, we threw it like once, maybe we really ran the ball for the most part, but it was just weird on both sides of like, A, why aren't we taking a knee, and B, why aren't they calling timeout? It was like it was
I don't
very
know.
weird.
But so, if you out like the middle part of the game, so outside of the touchdown drive and that last field goal drive where you have in a bunch of freshmen in the secondary, I want to say Michigan had 9 drives defensively for 124 yards. So this is not a good college offense. And they're playing their third string quarterback transfer from Southern Illinois. But once Michigan kind of settled into this game, they just didn't have any success. Can we talk about Rod Moore?
I fucking love Rod Moore.
Dude. How sick was that to be there for him? His first game in the big house since, the moment he stepped on the field, that was his first play at the big house since when?
Since
interception 2023, right?
To put the game away. I know, which is crazy. Dude, that seems like so long ago.
Yeah, it's a lifetime ago, man. So obviously he had the interception. There were 2 other plays that were like, holy shit, his knee is fine. The first one is on that throwback screen early in the game where if he doesn't make this play, that might go for like 40 yards. It's a big tight end, so he's going to get caught. But he impacts the quarterback the way he can throw the ball, like he can't get it there. He almost had a pick 6, but he didn't. But just the closing speed that he had, the throw had to kind of go outside, and then the tight end had to kind of shift around his body to try to catch it, and it just was incomplete. And then the play that was super impressive, I don't know. I'm sure you could see it on TV, but just in the stadium, like I'm sure when that reverse happened, you saw the entire defense, 9 or 10 guys flow to that side. And I'm like, oh shit. And then I see that I'm like, this is not good. I see everybody's on the other side of the field. And then here comes number 19, just full speed. The guy's out there to block him, just falls down. I think he was not expecting Rod to be that quick.
Rod didn't even like make a move. The guy was just like, oh shit.
Yeah. And then he makes the open field tackle. That might have been a touchdown. It's a 5-yard gain.
To your point, like, until you see Rod Moore come out of nowhere on the screen, I watched the game back. Until you see him come out of nowhere, you're like, wait, this is set up perfectly, and this is going to go for
It was a great call from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And then the interception, I know people were complaining about maybe Jair Hill with PI, whatever.
He did maul him, let's be honest.
That's fine. But Rod's closing speed to get there, dude, he's a second-round pick if he plays like that.
Yeah.
Like he's like I don't think he's as big of a hitter, but he's like Kirby Joseph. Like he's just kind of that center field safety. He can make plays on the ball. He's smart. Like, man, that is a huge, huge add to this defense.
Yeah.
His ability to play nickel, he's versatile, right? So then you can do different things with TJ Metcalf.
Which TJ Metcalf has been balling, by the way.
Yeah, he had a couple moments in the game that he made some plays, but I think he also had a couple mistakes. That I remember. I don't remember the exact plays, but I just remember seeing, watching the replay, and I'm like, oh, he probably was in the wrong spot. But he's been playing his tail off. Shout out to his parents. They came to the Charles Woodson event. They were just the best people. I feel bad even saying that their son made a mistake on the football field, but it's football, man. Like things happen, and it's he's learning a lot of new defense and playing nickel, and it's the hardest position to play in the secondary. So yeah, I'm glad we have TJ Metcalf on our team, man. He's been balling out, but man, like. I think you're seeing it with Jay Sean too. Like I think a couple runs on that first drive where Jay Sean maybe not knowing how to set the edge on a run play because he's not used to it from switching to linebacker to edge.
Yeah, I think that's also just like being super jacked up on the first drive and like firing off the ball. Like there were a couple of those times where we didn't stay in our gaps. It was like you found yourself 3 yards deep in the backfield and you're like, oh shit, he's running by me. Yeah. I think that is just like a lot of adrenaline and like wanting – Wink's defense is you're pinning your ears back and going, and that's what we want out of these guys. It caught him a couple times on that first drive, but then they settle in for the rest of the game and they're good.
Well, this isn't really a Jay Sean or Derek Moore. I know Derek Moore had the sack, but this isn't really their kind of game because Wisconsin's not looking to drop back and throw it 35 times. Like if they did that, the quarterback might have been carted off because when they did throw the ball, I thought Michigan did a good job getting pressure. Rolder was coming on the blitzes. He lit up the running back and pass pro. Like I think this was a game where you needed to be sound in the way that you played. And I think they kind of figured that out after the first drive, made a couple adjustments, and then they shut everything down. So yeah, Jair Hill, by the way, slowly quietly having a phenomenal year. I mean, a lot of people have been down on him, but I think he's been playing great football. They didn't really test him too many times in this game. Yeah, I thought Jair had a phenomenal game, and I think you see Zeke Berry coming back. I mean, I saw some people complaining about Zeke on. I think he got toasted a little bit on kind of like a go route. It was a quick hitter though, but
yeah, I mean,
there's no help.
Play.
There's no help,
Yeah.
and you're bringing both backers. So
Yeah.
you know that's just Wink style. I don't always love it necessarily, but I think Zeke played well. You know, obviously you've gotten a lot of reps from Jaden Sanders. We talked to Charles Woodson about that. Just playing a lot of football at a young age as a freshman is going to help you throughout your career, but also this year. So I think Michigan's secondary, it was kind of a little bit of the question mark coming into this year, and there's still been some moments like Hillman had a couple moments that like on that reverse he was just completely out of position. But I think you're seeing these guys continue to get reps, continue to get better. And that's what you're going to need the last Saturday in November. Like you're going to have all these guys have a ton of experience. So it was good to see Zeke back again. I thought he played pretty well. And Jair, I thought was dominant. I mean, they didn't even really try him. And Rod Moore, I mean, dude, these guys are getting healthier. Mason Curtis is back out there. He was banged up a little bit. So like you have more options.
Yes. You have more options. Michigan's defense is very deep, in my opinion. I think that there really isn't anybody that you can point to that you're like, hey, man, that's a weak spot. Like, I really don't think so, honestly, right now. And so you look at the defensive line. Trey Williams has been plugging that middle.
He's been playing a lot better since the Oklahoma game.
And same with Damon Payne. I wasn't so sure on Damon Payne early. He's been playing really well. Obviously, Jay Sean, Derek Moore had a really good game. TJ Guy, I think that would be one guy that I'm like, all right, I want to see him in the backfield a little bit more. But overall, like Jimmy Rolder's been playing really well. Cole Sullivan is going to be very good in a year or two.
Might be this year.
It might be this year. So that was my take that I actually put out on Twitter this morning is basically regardless of what Bryce and this offense can do, will do, Michigan's defense is good enough to take them to 10-2, 11-1, and make the college football playoff.
Yeah, man. I got to say, too, I keep forgetting Damon Payne's number 44. So when I see him jog out there, and, like, I was in, like, row 80, which is a great view for, like, the entire game, but, like, trying to pinpoint certain players, I'm like, had PTSD. I was thinking of, like, Ben Mason. Like, what's Max going out on defense for? But, yeah, I think Damon Payne has continued to play well. He was really effective in the run game. Trey Pierce is, I mean, the interior D line is really deep. And I think Eda's kind of, I don't know who I would compare him to. He's kind of more of like a 5 technique. He's not necessarily interior, but he's still a defensive tackle. I mean, he's been playing really well. Like, they just are really deep. And I think we talked about Jay Sean Barham going down the edge, but I think you just add another dimension of like a pure speed rusher with also some power rush ability with a bull rush. Man, this defensive line is just really deep. And then to your point, the linebackers, Cole Sullivan's continuing to get better. I think Cole Sullivan's probably better against like a true spread team than Wisconsin. I mean, it feels like Wisconsin was trying to get back to what, like, Luke, you should have never went air raid in the first place, brother. You should have done this from the start, right?
I think they had no choice because they had their backup quarterback in. They had no choice. They were like, we're just going to try to run it up the gut and whatever happens.
Yeah. So, yeah, defensively, I thought Michigan was really impressive. Again, can't say enough about Rod Moore. It's so awesome having a guy from the 23 defense that was like the guy, and then he's back. Like, the injury sucked, but it's like to have him this year is just a blessing, really. I think he's going to help the secondary. I think he's going to continue to be a coach in the backfield for them. Like, he's just – can we gush over him enough? Like, we just love Rod Moore, man. Like, he's
what you want out of a Wolverine. He's a captain. He's a guy that came back, has powered through, an injury not many guys come back after being out 18 plus months of injury, right? Like, it's pretty crazy. Yep. You're closer to 2 years than you are to anything for him being on a football field and contributing, right? And so for him to come back, be healthy enough to actually make those plays, like, sometimes when that happens to players, they just never come back to be what they were. So I'm super
He looks
pumped for
even
that.
better, man. Like he looks fat. He looks quicker. He looks like he's faster. Like I don't know what they did. They need to give me whatever that was. I'm down. Let's go do it. But no, like because this run that Michigan's had, last year wasn't great overall, but it obviously was great beating Ohio State. He's been here the entire time. He's been here since 2021. He committed to Michigan and stayed committed after the 2-4 season, after all the noise and the drama and everything around Jim Harbaugh at that time, and has just been here. So he's been a staple of Michigan. I mean, I think he committed in 2019.
Yeah.
Right. And so he red shirts. This is his 5th year. Like, it just feels like you have a piece of those special teams on this defense right now. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to put it into words, but it's awesome having him come out and play so well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for him. Super proud of him. Awesome kid too.
Yeah.
Which, makes it all the better. So let's talk about, we go to USC Saturday. We can break that down here in a little bit and later on this week as well. But just in general, looking at Michigan's schedule right now, there is a path to the college football playoff, like a pretty serious path, right? And I think if you would have told me at the end of last year that Michigan would have a very clear path to the college football playoff next year, I would have called you high as shit. But right now you're sitting here. If you can go win on the road in LA against I don't think, good, not great USC team is probably what I would call them. But it's still they're like a fringe top 25 team. Right. I think, yeah. But if you can go win that, then it's like, all right, you have Washington at home. They're good, no doubt. So those are not like gimme games at all. But you're sitting there, to your point, regardless of what happens at the last weekend of November, there's a very clear path to getting into the college football playoff. And I want to say this, like, yes, we want to go 14-0, 15-0 every single year. But I think you call that a major success in year one of Bryce Underwood coming off of the season that was last year.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about going to USC, obviously a very explosive offense. They got one of the best offenses in the country, but it's Michigan, I think, getting Rod Moore back was huge for a lot of reasons, but I think this game especially, right? Just having additional bodies back there, somebody who can really help his guys line up and know what to do. He's been there before. He knows the defense. He's been playing in a variation of Wink's defense for 5 years, right? So he knows exactly where his guys need to be. I think that's going to be huge. Make sure there's no busts, and really force USC to kind of drive down the field. And then, USC defensively, not great. Just kind of Lincoln Riley's MO for basically his entire career. Maybe those early Oklahoma teams had some decent defenses, but if you can go, and we've seen some teams go to the West Coast in the greater Los Angeles area, Justin, and really struggle. This team is not 0-4. They're a little bit better than that. So I think for Michigan, it's definitely traveling to the West Coast. Typically, like regular season has been tough. But Michigan did win in Los Angeles and Pasadena, a couple of years ago. So you can do it.
I enjoyed that day.
I think your hat kind of alludes to something with the rose there. But
shout out Woodson Whiskey, by the way. I think
that was awesome, dude.
You casually just dropped that we like chatted it up with Charles Woodson, which was amazing. So awesome dude, by the way. Came in, signed a bunch of stuff for us. Got to meet and greet with a bunch of people. Came on the podcast, which was awesome. And that
was crazy.
Yeah, head to Bush's. Head to Bush's.
Yeah,
grab
I got all the stuff behind me. My right over my right shoulder. A couple signed bottles of whiskey, Mason Blitz, the All American Bourbon, and then the mini helmet. So shout out to Charles, man. That was dope. Like I'm not one to ever like get starstruck, and I don't think I really was, but like that's a cool moment for us. You started this thing, and then I kind of joined in, and we've been putting in a lot of work, a lot of effort. We talked, dude, like we're chopping up with Chris Wormley a couple weeks ago, and like I see Andrew Vastardis with the tailgates. He's like, "How you been?" Like it's like, but Charles Woodson's a little different, right? And so that was a really cool moment for us, and all the people behind the scenes that nobody really sees unless you come to the tailgates. If you just listen, there's a ton of people that help us. that keep us organized and do all the things we need to do as kind of a media brand. And so for them to get, a moment to enjoy that and take a picture with Charles Woodson, like that's cool. That's what it's all about. And, like our guy Caleb that does a lot of work for us, helps with a lot of different things. I was at his house, I stayed at his house Friday night, and he had a signed jersey, some signed photos. Like it was just really cool that Charles took time to do that in partnership with us and with Bushes. Like, and it was just like, to your point, like just super down to earth. Like the guy's resume is insane.
It is kind of crazy that, like, I know obviously we know him as like a Michigan legend, and like you hear the name all the time, and he is he's literally the GOAT of Michigan football. I mean, one of them. If you want to put him and Dez and Tom Harmon as like 1A, 1B, 1C, I guess maybe, but it's like he literally is the GOAT, but he did it at every level. Like, and he's a guy too, like Tom Brady-esque, of like did it at like 40 years old in the NFL, which was insane. And by the way, he looks like he could suit up in the NFL tomorrow. Yeah. Even with gray hair, like the gray beard and everything. Also, shout out to him. He said that we could have the exclusive on his Sun committee.
I wonder where that will be.
I don't know. Soon, hopefully.
If you haven't watched it, it's only like 6 minutes. He's a busy guy. He's there with Fox, big noon kickoff. And I had a lot more questions I wish I could have asked. So maybe in the future, if he's not so busy, we can do a little more formal of one. But
I
go
think
check that out.
We'll have him on. We'll have him on later this year, hopefully again. It was tough. He was running late coming from the his son's visit, which like caught them up, which was not their fault at all. But
traffic was crazy with homecoming. Like, it was absurd.
But there were like 300 people waiting in line, and we're sitting there interviewing him, and I'm like, I want to sit here with you for an hour, but if we go any like longer than we do, these people are gonna riot. It was awesome to have him on.
Because one question I did have, and because he brought it up about his son being on a visit, and I think you mentioned it as well during that podcast, like, can you take off the Michigan Charles Woodson hat, put on the dad hat? And he's like, they're basically one and the same. So I wonder where he's going to go to school, Justin. He's a 4-star, pretty good resource at home to, hey, what kind of technique on this type of route or this formation? Like, a pretty good guy to have to class.
Imagine calling your dad to like, hey, how'd I play today? Or like, how'd practice go? And it's just Charles Woodson like breaking down what you need to do. Like, you've got a bit of an advantage over some other people. So
Mason Blitz, though, man.
Shout out Mason Blitz.
Tailgates. So going back to the schedule, I feel this is a good kind of segue, and I'll talk about the tailgate real quick. But so Washington, that's gonna be a noon kick.
Yep.
So we wanted a night game, but at the same time, from a competitive standpoint, got to kick off at 9:00 local time for the Huskies. Body clock's a little off. You're up real early. So, maybe it's, maybe that helps Michigan. I do wish it was a night game, man. That feels like a perfect one to have kickoff at 7:30 under the lights. But, if you need to get a little raucous before the game, you want to be loud, you want to let go of your ambitions, or inhibition, I guess is the word I'm looking for, Justin. I didn't go to college. Get some Mason Blitz, man. It'll get you loose. You'll be yelling on third down. Get it loud. It's delicious, man.
It is, and it's also, I know it's still like 85 degrees here in Ann Arbor, which is absurd because it's October. But as soon as you get into the fallish vibes, which we're getting there, I think, this week, the Mason Blitz is like perfect. Cinnamon, apple pie. Oh my God, it's so.
We need some apple cider actually to mix with that.
I think
that might be on the list
at the Washington tailgate. We're gonna do. Hopefully, it'll be like 50 and sunny for that one for noon, and then we can do some maybe some hot apple cider.
I was just thinking that little hot cider, little spiked hot cider. That might be a vibe, man.
I love it. All right.
That was crazy, though. And then, number 2 pick in the NHL draft, Matty Beniers is at our tailgate, just chopping it up, man. I had a quick conversation with him, for the Seattle Kraken. So I don't know what's going on, man. I really don't. It's kind of crazy, some of the things that happened to us. And it's a lot of fun.
It's literally like you just never know who's going to show up at the Blue by 90 tailgate.
You got to show up, and you got to come through. We had DJ Array, Big House DJ, our boy Ryan, always does a great job on the on the music
On the
and
ones
just having
and
a great
twos.
time. Yeah, I was thinking the ones and twos. I couldn't think of the term, man. It's a real simple one, but no, man, it was a great time. Would love to have Charles on the podcast again in a more like this type of setting, maybe 30 minutes with him. He's a busy guy, but so go check out that podcast. It's like 6.5 minutes long, so it's not gonna take long to watch, but
Yeah.
really cool to talk to Charles, and he stayed and signed all that stuff, man. So just really cool to kind of get back to his fans and with the partnership with Bush's. So go get some Woodson whiskey, man. It's well worth it. Come to our tailgate, try it out, get a sample, and then go buy a couple bottles.
Yeah, we had a great turnout at the tailgate this week. We'll be there 8 a.m. For that for that Washington game. Purple team, some purple team.
Well, we will be in Wrigley for Northwestern.
That's true.
I can't wait for that.
That's going to be amazing. So question for you is, what do we have to do to get Justice Haynes on the Heisman watch on the net? Like, this is every week this poll comes out from On3 and from all these things, and nobody's talking about Justice Haynes, but he's like, I mean, he's averaging over 100 yards a game, has a touchdown in every single game. I'm sitting here like, all right, what do we got to do to get him on the watch list?
I think it's just going to have to be huge plays and huge games, right? Like, and this schedule does not have a ton of those. So he's just going to have to consistently put up 125 plus yards with a touchdown or two a game. Who is the Heisman leader? Mateer's hurt.
They have the Bama QB.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to win it as a non-quarterback unless you're doing something crazy like Devontae Smith or Travis Hunter. Yeah. I mean, when's the last running back that won it? Derrick Henry? Is that
probably
Blake? Blake would have won it in 22 if he didn't get hurt.
Was Genty close?
Yeah, Genty was there, but Genty also put like ridiculous numbers, and Haynes' numbers are great, but they're not like.
Genty
maybe if he was in the Mountain West, he'd be doing that. But
yeah, Genty in the Mountain West was like 200 plus yards.
But he's fourth in the country in rushing. He's third in Power 4. Ahmad Hardy's a guy that I think if a running back's going to get to New York, unless Hardy really falls off, because he's got 730 yards of offense through 5 games. So, I think the same way that Blake sort of got into contention was just he showed up like against Maryland. He had 240 yards, 2 touchdowns in a game that was kind of close, right? And so, again, I don't know. I think with Justice, it's going to have to be just like because Blake I was at that Maryland game. He had huge touchdown runs on a fourth down right before the half. He ran for like 240 yards. He had a touchdown to put the game away, basically. He had just huge games. So basically, Justice just needs to keep doing what he's doing, and then hope it's like that 22 year where, Bryce Young wins it. But like, or was it? Did Bryce win it?
No, Bryce won it. But if Blake doesn't get hurt that year, I mean, he's definitely in the top 4 and going to New York for the ceremony. If not the leader.
Because look at what Dono did against that defense. I mean,
exactly.
I think Blake would have had an opportunity to do that. So, no, Justice Haynes is playing really well. I mean, again, that Wisconsin team, their front 7's really good. Their back 4, it's not great in the pass game. So I think you're probably seeing a lot of teams just throw the ball because, it's just the easier thing to do against Wisconsin. But he still had a really solid game. I mean, he had over 100 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. So, it's 19 carries, 117 yards, 6 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like that's pretty damn good against what was the number 1 rush defense in the country.
Right. The other thing I want to point out is go look at Oklahoma's defensive stats on the year. They are very good. And so that's a Brent Venables team who he's a defensive guru. So I know obviously Justice had the one run there. Our offense didn't do much against them, but like the way that we all freaked out on our offense and, against it after that Oklahoma game, they're possibly one of the top defenses in the country. So I'm not super worried about that. And again, I think our offense is figuring it out. So we got to get Justice in this conversation somehow. I think that he will have the chance, to be honest, in the USC game as a primetime game against, in LA. Like, I think that's going to be national coverage. So if he has a breakout game of some sort against USC, that could put him like on the map a little bit.
Yeah, so Oklahoma is second in the country, 64 yards per game against the run, and also second in the country, 2 yards per carry.
I mean, that's crazy. So
yeah, and we, obviously Justice had the 75-yarder, but still had some success. I mean, it wasn't great on the ground in that game, but that's obviously a very good team. I mean, they're up to number 6 in the country, I think. So that's obviously not a bad loss for Michigan. And Michigan's up to 15th now. So opportunity these next 2 weeks. If you go 2-0, you're sitting there at 6-1. You go to Michigan State. You come back home against Purdue. I'm going off the top of my head. Do you have the schedule up in front of you? Because it works out, man. One moment.
I think we've got a bye and then Northwestern.
That's right. Okay, so you have USC Saturday in the Coliseum. You come back. You've got Washington at home. A little bit of a revenge factor from last year's game in Seattle, not going Michigan's way. Then you go to Michigan State, and then Purdue at home. Bye week. Northwestern at Wrigley, at Maryland, and then you guys know the last one. So you're in an area where you win these next 2 games, you're 6-1. You've got a 4-game stretch against kind of middle, bottom half Big Ten teams, and you're 10-1, and you're probably in the playoff.
Yep.
No matter what happens, and obviously we know, the last few times those teams have played, it's gone Michigan's way. At home, gonna be a lot of maize and blitz in me that day, Justin. We're gonna be
up pretty early there. Also, I think that we were talking about this on Saturday after I might have had a couple maize and blitz shots, a couple camp vodka waters, maybe a couple Blue by 90 beers mixed in. I might have done it all. But we were just talking about Michigan, Ohio State. Listen, Ohio State's good. We're not going to say that they're not. Their defense is probably even better than they were last year. They did get rid of Jack Sawyer, so that helps usually when you get rid of a whiner and crybaby like that.
Can I real quick on Jack Sawyer? I was on eBay I was just watching football yesterday after the Lions win. Another win over a team from Ohio. The Tigers got it done against the Guardians, and the Lions have beaten Ohio teams last week. So just pretty ho hum. But I was just like, man, I wonder what's on eBay, like Michigan memorabilia, just see what I can find. There was a mini helmet signed by Jack Sawyer, and it just says "fuck Michigan." And I'm like, who's buying that? Who's the target demographic here for this?
Signing something "fuck Michigan" when you never beat them in 4 years. Specifically, had a whole article, documentary thing written about you about coming back to beat Michigan, and then lost to them as 21-point favorites is hilarious.
And then cried about the flag.
That's
crazy.
His legend, his legacy from a Michigan standpoint is awesome. So awesome for us.
It's great. I love it. Because I don't know who's buying that. Because the guys before, because look, they had our number. They'd put 4-0 or whatever.
Yeah,
you can't put that. You can't do that. You can't put 0-4. You can flip those numbers. I don't think it would sell very well. I don't know who's buying that now.
I agree with you. That probably
just go buy something from Bosa.
The same people that are buying the schedule, like the national championship schedule T-shirt or cup, and it says 13-10.
Can I say so? Anytime, if we go visit family or whatever, and we're closer to Ohio, we will go and do whatever. We went to the county fair with my daughter. There was a lot of Ohio State stuff. There was a lot of national championship gear. And every time I would see the schedule on the back of the shirt or the hoodie, I would turn to my wife and I'm like, you don't know how happy that makes me. Hey, you got the natty. That's cool, man. You got it. You won it. Awesome. You want to win the national championship for sure. But I just know when they get that and they turn it around, you look at the shirt from Fanatics, you're like,
I mean, that's the first thing that your eyes go straight to it if you're them, right?
Because I have something like this. It's not Ohio State, but I have the 2021 pint glass Big Ten champion. It has a score, and it always annoys me. And I remember I tweeted it, and a bunch of Michigan State fans, whatever. I would take that season over any season except for 3 or 4 in my lifetime.
Yes,
right?
correct.
So it's just so funny to me to see that 13-10. And it doesn't even say Teton. It says Michigan. Like they have it on their shirt. I love it. Like, hey, I didn't want them to win the national championship. Not like Jack. Jack was a little crazy. It's like, I want them to win it. Like he said that like after the game. I'm like, no, you don't want them to win it. They do. Hats off. It was a great run. It's still hilarious. And I know it bothers them and it makes me happy.
I agree with you. So anyway, so the talking about Ohio State this year, they're very good. Sayan is very good. He is super accurate, doesn't do anything crazy at all, but like doesn't miss, right? And I think that their offensive line is good.
Bo Jackson's really good.
Jeremiah Smith's unbelievable.
Carnell Tate, I mean,
like they're super good. I still think though that come late November, they're going to come to Ann Arbor, and it's like they're definitely not believing that they really can beat Michigan. That's how I feel. I think that they still, in this, whatever is wrong with Ryan Day's brain of that he can't beat Michigan, it all creeps in. So they can beat Minnesota 49-3 or whatever that score was. They can blow at everybody. They're still going to come up here and be like, I don't know if we can do it, because if Davis Warren could beat them, what's Bryce Underwood going to do?
That's game 12 Bryce Underwood, right? Like that's almost a year in the program, Bryce Underwood. And that's what we talked about earlier in the show with just his progress and continuing to develop and be able to get through his reads a lot quicker, understanding what the defense is showing him. I still am curious. Like, I want to see them go up against a good offense. Like,
I agree.
Because I know Washington was, 58 points a game. And then again, they go in the first 3 quarters, put up a stinker against Maryland. And maybe that's some of that kind of hangover from the Ohio State game. You're at home and you just don't perform. And obviously they balled out in the 4th. I can't take that away from them. But like, I don't know if that's on the schedule. Right. Penn State, like, I would love to see, like, I obviously want Michigan to be in the Big Ten championship, but I think an Ohio State-Oregon matchup, because they don't play in the regular season, I think that would be awesome, whether it's in the Big Ten championship playoffs. Like, I just want to see that game because I think it'd be a great football game. I want to say this, though. Why on God's green earth does any tight end ever go to Ohio State over Michigan?
Or Penn State?
Andrew Olesh, I know your mom wanted you to come to Michigan. You just come on back, brother. 11 catches for 137 yards, 1 touchdown in 5 games for Max Clare, who was tight end 1 in the portal. He had 51 catches for 700 yards and 4 touchdowns last year at Purdue. That's obviously a full season, but like, what are we doing? Marlon Klein's been hurt half the year and has more catches, more yards. Like, what are we doing? Why are these guys going there?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, obviously their wide receivers get, the most play arguably of any team in the country.
Of course. You should know that going into it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Max Clare should have come to Michigan, to be honest.
This offense with him would be
yeah. Which I like our tight ends a lot.
Yeah, I thought Zach Marshall played well. I mean, Marlon's still kind of working through the injury. I think Hogan Hansen, again, that's the X factor on the offense for me. Like, can Hogan Hansen become a guy that is, he's not the route runner that Colson Loveland is, but he's a more athletic, out wide tight end that you see in today's modern NFL. Can he get healthy, and can he be that third guy with Marsh and McCulley? That's the question that I have, because I thought, again, Sprague had some issues, but I thought the offensive line overall played pretty well. They had some missed assignments in the run game, but still ran for 170 yards, starting to wear them down in the second half. There's a lot to be excited about. And again, I just feel like a lot of people don't actually watch the games or don't really understand what's really happening out there. It's okay. Like this was always going to be a ramp up. It was never going to be just running through everybody. That's next year in 27. Like, that's what you're hoping for in the next 2 years. But this year was always about growth, always about development. And I'm seeing it. Like, I'm seeing it in real time.
Which, by the way, speaking of, obviously we're not looking past this year, but you're talking about next year. Theoretically, I think that you look at what you have in Andrew Babalola and Ty Haywood coming up, right? Like, I think
Juanera is going to be your center.
This offensive line could be really, really good,
because you're going to have a battle at a lot of positions. And I mean, you mentioned Babalola at tackle, right? He's probably going to be your left tackle. Right tackle is going to be, Sprague could continue to ascend and lock that down, but then Blake Frazier's there. Ty Haywood's fighting for a guard spot. Afobe's been playing a lot this year. Guarnera's going to move to center, so you're going to lose El Hadi, who hopefully can come back from injury. I think plugging him at left guard would give this group an even higher ceiling. But Guarnera's going to be your center. Like, you lose Crippen, but man, I think Guarnera is going to be basically Crippen plus. Like, there's a lot to be excited about. And then you get in the portal, and it's like, hey, like, we could throw for 300 yards a game if we could catch the goddamn ball. So
I know
easier conversations for Ron Bellamy to have.
Yeah, I know for a fact that they're going to go get 3, maybe 4 wide receivers in the portal. And that's not like I love Donovan McCulley, but they're going for like the top wide receiver portal target.
Well, and McCulley had eligibility. He'd be back, and
right.
It would be great.
Sure.
But he doesn't. So now it's just about developing Marsh. I guess I'll talk about this. I had a moment in the stadium I wasn't necessarily proud of internally, of just like, I don't want to see Samaj Morgan ever again. I don't think that. I maybe said it on the phone after, and I don't think that. Catch the ball, buddy. Like, he's so explosive with the ball in his hands. Like, it's just so frustrating. I mean, it's just
we can't drop you can't drop the football. We talked about this a little bit. It's your 4th year in the program, correct? So like, those are things you just can't do. And to be honest, the bobble, yakety sacks, fumble, whatever, like, that was this close to another drop. It's like, man,
on a great play from Bryce. Like, I'm sure Bryce is frustrated. Because I'm
Bryce, shout out to Bryce for not showing it, to be honest. Super mature for a freshman.
More mature than me.
More mature than you, just screaming, I don't want to see Samaj Morgan ever again.
No, I didn't do that. It was internal. But
no, I honestly I do want to like give Bryce a shout out on that, of just like, super mature for a fresh 18-year-old to not even in the moment show any frustration at all with his guys, when it would have been very justified that he did. So yeah, I'm complimentary of him there. So anyways, all right. So we're going west, not we, but Michigan's headed west on Saturday. Actually, Sherrone Moore came out, said they're leaving Thursday.
Good.
So they're going to get acclimated. They're actually practicing at the Chargers facility with Coach Harbaugh on Friday, which I'm sure
we'll tell rival fans that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
I saw some people freak out because Chargers sent scouts to Youngstown State. There are scouts that have basically their own region throughout the country for every NFL team, and they go visit those schools for practice. They go watch games.
It's weird. I
don't know if they know that.
It's what they're paid to do, actually.
Yeah,
is go to scout. College talent.
Scouting.
It's actually right in the title of the profession. So,
yeah.
But I'm sure we'll get some great content out of Coach Harbaugh. He's probably like going to just run practice. I don't know. Who knows?
You think he's just stop by?
I think he'll probably stop by.
I would think so. Is that allowed? Are we able to? Is that okay? We have to clear that.
I mean, I'm sure the NCAA will come with some violation for us if it's Coach Harbaugh. That's
we're on probation.
Sure.
We gotta.
So
we gotta be careful.
Actually, it's a great question, because he still has this show cause. So can he like not be at a practice for?
I don't know. Connor Stellings goes to games.
That's true.
I know it's not a game; it's practice, but
I don't know. There's probably something there that they'll make up. But I think this is another. What's the spread? Are we favored?
I think USC is favored by 2.5. So basically, kind of a toss up because you get 3 points at home. So it's basically a pick 'em.
Yeah. I mean, this is a defining game for this season, right? Again, if you can go on the road like you did to Nebraska, and I'm not going to say this is a hostile environment, because I truly think it will be majority Michigan fans there. But if you can go beat a solid football team on the road, especially with the time zone change, that is a defining moment in your season. And you need to win those games if you want to be elevated to the next level of like good to very good. Right. Yep. And so I'm excited to see the guys. I think that this could be a game where you really do see Bryce unleashed, especially if it's, if Lincoln Riley, if we're trying to win a shootout, it's like, hey man, we got to go. I will say one thing about this past weekend that I want to see next weekend was the drive right out of the gate in the second half where we went tempo, and it was like, let's go, let's be aggressive instead of sitting and waiting. I want to see that a lot more. Like, I don't know why we don't just do that all the time. I mean, that's something I wonder if we see that going up against the Lincoln Riley offense this weekend.
Well, I think you can do that with if Hogan Hansen's healthy, you can have him and Klein out there with Marshall McCauley and Haynes as your running back, and you can do a lot of different things with that. You can still run the ball with 2 tight ends,
yes,
or you can split one of them out wide, right? So there's a lot that you can do, with that formation and go tempo, right? So I would be interested to see if that's something that they incorporate. There's still obviously a big role for Max Bredesen on this team, but I think just in the pass game, like just being able to kind of be unpredictable with those 2 tight ends who can block, more so Marlon, but also can go and run routes, and you can line them up in a variety of ways. I would like to see something like that with some tempo. I thought that drive coming out of half was really good, and again, until it went run, pass. And the pass was 4 verts into the end zone at the 9-yard line. I don't
to Marlon Klein.
Can we get a drag route going? I know that. I mean, it feels like they don't want Bryce over the middle right now, but like, come on.
You could have done anything.
Also, route. I don't know.
I mean, that's where like you have Donovan McCauley, you have Andrew Marsh, and you have Marlon. One of them in the corner, like look at what Donovan McCauley is doing with some of these.
McCauley, I think, was doubled on that play. So but then somebody else should have more space to operate with, right? So that's where you run a drag or
anybody
some sort of pick play.
What about a pick play, any of those. So I would love to just see this offense like get unleashed a little bit more. It feels like we kind of took a step back this week in terms of like the overall play calling, but I'm not complaining. I'm just gonna say I'm not complaining about a win.
Well, and I think some of that was the offensive line kind of just some missed assignments that caused it to look a lot worse than it did in the moment. So things to clean up, things to work on, as there always is. You never play a perfect football game ever.
No.
There's just so many things you need to do as whatever position you're at. So good win, move on, go to USC. You win the USC game, I'm start walking with my chest out a little bit, because then you're approaching top 10 territory. You're approaching 10-win season playoff berth, like Big Ten championship, right? Because you're undefeated in conference play right now.
Yep.
So
there are some teams out there that are defeated in conference play.
Do they play in? There's a couple.
There are a couple. One of them is.
Are they state schools?
What? Yes, I believe they are. So tough situation.
Did one of them lose as a 24-point favorite to an 0-4 team?
They did. The other team, I would say their fans talk shit about saying that we're going to kick our ass this year.
I saw someone say like, oh, season's not over. He's like, listed all the games. He's like 50-50 with Michigan. I'm like, I don't know about that.
I did see the 50-50 with Michigan. I was like, I feel like we're going to be 10+ point favorites going into that game.
They talked a lot about Bryce going 9 for 24 against Oklahoma. Their savior went 9 of 23 with 2 picks. Yeah,
I did see Justin Thind said something like Aiden Childs was doing hero things, superhero things. I'm confused on what that would.
I saw this was just the segment where we just talk about funny things we saw on the internet. I saw someone who said like Childs should be up for like in the conversation for certain awards. I'm like, what awards? And at what point in that game were you like, yeah, Heisman?
Dude, there's
I
zero.
watched that game.
Listen, I will say I want to give him a little credit because their offensive line is so bad that he's
a great athlete, but then he reverts to like just horrible decision making in the pass game and throws 2 huge picks.
Yeah, he runs for his life a lot, but then like I'll say this is where Bryce Underwood is a lot different. Even when he was running around and scrambling in this game against Wisconsin, he was super controlled in what he did with the football. Right. And Aiden Childs is literally like he has no idea where he's going with the ball and just forces it. So I'm laughing a little bit at the team down the road here in East Lansing. I'm excited. I think we're going to go there and kick the shit out of them again. And I would doubt that offense is going to do a whole lot against us.
Their backup looked a lot better. I mean, he was 9 of 23, 85 yards, 2 picks, 13 rushes, 23 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he did make a great play on the 4th down. But yeah, like, well, to be fair, I found the tweet. It's the MSU chief of propaganda.
I mean, that is his job. So,
yes. So shout out to him because I do find some of his tweets funny. I don't know if we've ever interacted. It's probably not been pleasant if we have. I don't know. It's the internet. But he said Aiden Childs is as good as any player in America and also as valuable as any. This was at 6:30. So about like in the 3rd quarter of the game. I don't know what you watched up until that point to say that. That's the thing that I'm like, all right, what are we talking about here? You know?
I don't know. I mean, they're a delusional fan base. I mean, that account.
And you know what though? I say, do I not come on here and say to be overly optimistic? Because what's the fun in being pessimist?
I'm with you.
So do it. But I just, where did that come from?
There's a fine line between optimism and delusion, and I think they cross it.
I straddle it every day, Justin, because I start thinking, you know, what if we do this? Like even in games, I'm like, all right, you get to stop here, score, get to stop here, score. I like want the game to, you know, I still care about style points, like it's the BCS era.
Yeah, 100%.
I like to win by a lot. So 14 is not a lot, but it was a dominant performance for the most part, and got the win. And it was hot as hell. It was fun.
It was hot as hell. All right. Shout out Feldman Chevrolet of Highland. Shout out Woodson Whiskey. Shout out Camp Vodka Water. That's it. That's all I've got for today. For us, you can follow us at Blue by 90 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Blue by 90 Podcast on YouTube, and blueby90.com. We appreciate you. Go Blue.
Go Blue.